you today about the rapid transformation that's going on in customer service operations. Like coding and marketing, contact centers and customer service is one of the key areas that we're seeing big value unlocks. Customers spend around 14 billion hours a year contacting customer service, and most of those hours are not good. Leading organizations are setting ambitions for 60% reduction and improvement in productivity within the customer service operation through enabling AI in the operation. But to unlock this benefit will require an end-to-end transformation of the customer service organization. That means rethinking the teaming, building new AI capabilities into the business, and building a whole new tech ecosystem to unlock that benefit. So to get from that ambition to the actual value unlocking, we think that there's 10% that comes from the data, 20% that comes from the technology, but actually 70% of this comes from people and change management, actually transforming the way we work. Some very large organizations have already started to see these benefits with big volume reductions, big improvements in global organizations like Microsoft and high street banks and leading cybersecurity companies already deploying AI in their customer service operations to transform how they operate. And what are they immediately seeing? Well, they're starting to see that uplift in productivity on the individual customer support agents' ways of working and productivity gains, but also some short-term P&L gains. So they're actually able to bank some of this to the bottom line. Not as much as the productivity gain, and we'll come to that in a moment around why the productivity gains do not translate straight into the P&L. But they have some really long-term ambitions for transforming customer service, with many organizations setting ambitions above 60% reduction in the cost item of delivering service operations. So where do they start? They started on the very basic things like transcribing the call for knowledge summaries, for post-call notes, for creating a consistent user experience of finding where the problems were in their service organization, and then really focusing on unlocking the value from those immediate wins of generative AI providing summarization. But where could we go? Well, you think about what it is today. You have an agent who handles one query and then makes one offer, and that's the end. We're going to move to an AI augmented world where the agent has superpowers, where they can bring all the customer needs into the story. They can think about the end-to-end process and trigger agentic workflows that actually solve many issues all in one go. And they can also personalize that to the customer that they're dealing with. How do we get to this level of unlock? Well, the focus has really been around the support response. How do we actually, when people contact customer service, how do we make that better? But actually, the real value unlock will happen moving upstream. How do we build self-healing capabilities? How do we build preemptive capabilities that actually prevent issues happening and solve them before the customer even realizes? And many organizations have got very good at self-help and support response, but have really underinvested in preemption and self-healing, which will be the big value unlocks in future for preventing reasons for contacting customer support. And where does this world lead us to? Well, you can think about AI that identifies problems and prevents them from ever being an issue. Self-healing AI, where it spots a problem has occurred, but fixes it before a customer even notices. And then much more self-help, where AI is front and center of the front door into customer support and really handles most of the queries before only passing to an attended human when absolutely necessary. And this will unlock huge amounts of value. And right now we're seeing many people focus on that sort of middle self-help area where they're deploying digital self-help with AI and voice self-help. But there is much more to be done here. And there's a lot of inefficiencies from scaling. While one pilot might demonstrate a 30% improvement in productivity, getting that to stick at scale is proving a very, very difficult change management problem. There are lots of pitfalls. Many people focus on this as a technology-driven transformation, and it's much more a people and change management journey. There's lots of fragmented use where people build one capability and then rebuild that capability in another area, for instance, in chats and email, they may build one solution, and in voice, they may build a very completely different solution. And that leads to lots of fragmentation and lots of different use cases that never actually truly achieve scale. Many think about just leveraging individual use cases and not thinking about this as an end-to-end transformation, and focus on just delivering proofs of concept and not delivering at scale. And then many are held back by the waiting for perfectionism, seeing the hallucination of an LLM or seeing the risks of this, and then unwilling to start because of the desire for perfectionism before deploying. And we think there are three keys to really get to actual value. The first is to be able to deliver that end-to-end transformation, a top-down ambition from the board for very large-scale impact, and building the measures for P&L impacts immediately so that you know that you're delivering value. So what are the 10 things you need to get right? So thinking about an end-to-end transformation, you really need to think through, what is my new way of orchestrating demand? How will I steer demand? How will I prevent demand? And where will I route demand in future? How will I reconfigure my teams and my structures so that I've got in-house and outsourced agents organized in the ways that can actually unlock value? If AI boosts everybody and gives everybody more access to knowledge management, quicker speed to competency, can you lean more on your outsourced or offshore agents for more complex skills? You need to rethink the future of workforce management and recruitment and retention and learning and development in this world. All those things are completely transformed, and we need to reorganize the organization. We also need to rethink how we manage outsourcers. There's a lot of capabilities we've historically only put the low value activity into outsourcers. Now this technology allows us to put much more high value contact into the outsourcer, and that requires us rethinking how we manage outsourcers. Traditionally, quality management was a very heavy people organization, maybe reviewing 2% of interactions. With AI, we can review 100% of interactions and score all of them, find all the calls and contacts with risk in them, and flag those to the supervisor for human review. We can also then take every call and find missing knowledge in our knowledge management system and automatically draft knowledge based on how the query was resolved to really fix the gaps in our knowledge management systems. This will require a new operational capability with AI ops. This is business people driving AI, not technology enablers. This is people who sit within the operation, who can drive and steer the AI. It requires new tech partners. We're seeing a transformation of the software market here, with lots and lots of new vendors entering the customer support ecosystem who can actually bring new capabilities. It requires whole new ways of working for the leadership to drive this change and to sell this change to people. And always in this is a people journey and taking people on a change management journey. Where does this lead us to? Well, today we have a very frontline centric world. We think in future actually will be much smaller, with the frontline disappearing and moving to an expert-led world where experts manage AIs that handle the vast majority of interactions. But these experts also then have to be able to do much more across the organization, cross-functionally, to unlock resolution for customers. As the core function shrinks, we do invent this new AI operations world. This is a whole new set of teams that deliver AI ops, a whole new set of roles. And the actual focus of the teams moves much more from focusing on keeping the lights on towards how do we deliver continuous improvement and long-term change. So I noticed there's two things in the chat. I wonder if it would, I'll just check if there's any questions. And no, but feel free to pop those questions in if you want. And so as we get to this new world, we would think about reskilling people and reorganizing the different skill sets. Some leading organizations like Uber now serve Tagalog agents in the Philippines, delivering customer support to Japanese customers in the app. So rethinking how we would deliver language skill using LLMs to manage the language gap and really transforming the way we organize people. So as we start, this will be a tech-driven journey at the beginning with lots of new things to build. But then it will very quickly become an AI shaping world where the business needs to drive how this is deployed and what it will do. And in the end, we'll leave in a world where there's a professional business unit driving and governing that technology, and a much reduced set of technology people involved. We need leaders who are enabled. We need customers to be nudged to switch behaviors to drive this adoption. We need to think about how we're going to drive our agents to adopt these, and we need to rethink the skills and capabilities of people. So in the next 12 months, we're going to see lots of these early use cases starting to deliver value. In the next 24 months, we're going to see a step change in efficiency in customer support. And hopefully in the next 24 months and beyond, we're going to see a reimagination of what support looks like. This will require a whole new set of capabilities in the tech stack with a new AI layer, with lots of new capabilities, things like guardrails and monitoring, orchestration, model gardens where you switch out models as the LLMs evolve, and lots of monitoring capabilities in the operation. But what about agentic AI? I'm sure if you go anywhere and listen to any podcast or LinkedIn, all you hear about at the moment is agentic. So what does that actually mean? So we're moving from a world where LLMs and chatbots can do things that are sort of single mode, thinking about the chat interface, to enabling them to move tools and deliver things with if statements and deliver functions with those workflows. We're going to get to a world where we have autonomous agents, where they can observe, they can plan, they can act. It's very early. There's very few of these things delivered at scale. And we will end in a world where there is multi-agent systems. This could even be where that your iPhone has an agent on it delivering support for you by it contacting support and delivering with an agent at the business side, and therefore you're not actually involved in your support queries anymore. You have your own agent dealing with other agents to solve your queries. The pace of change here is significant, and we're seeing a sort of doubling every 7 months in the amount of automation that we can deliver. So that's a doubling every 7 months. So we're getting towards the world now where AI can deliver tasks that would take a human being 4 hours, and it can deliver them for us. So a real step change in the amount of things we can automate. There are lots of constraints, though. So as you start to think about what does an agentic world look like, we need to unlock 6 big functional step changes. We need to move from a world where we don't have reasoning and planning in the LLMs to enabling that functionality, to be able to give them autonomy to execute tasks, to building memory and knowledge into the LLM so that it can remember how things were done in the past and repeat those functions, and to give it reliability and safety so that it can actually consistently answer the question the same way. A lot of work on integration and interoperability. So how do we deploy it into legacy enterprise architectures and integrate it with the existing workflow? And then lots of social understanding. How does it know what social cues are, and how does it know how to deliver social understanding? And so model context protocol is one of those things that's evolving out there, which is allowing us to start to think about how models might deliver within systems. And we're starting to see many organizations start to deliver what we call MCP clients. This is where an LLM can know how to use a tool and have a documented tool that it can call upon. It could post a message in Slack, it could update a record in Salesforce, and these MCPs will be the way in which our LLMs and agentic AI can start to hook into systems and really deliver using tools at scale. This is going to really change the way we think about the technology stack within an organization. Today, there's lots of point-to-point integrations. We're going to move to a world where there's lots of MCPs that will be connected, and AI platforms that have their own data layers and their own transactional systems, but MCPs that can work across the different layers. They can work at the agent level when you're talking to them, but they can also call at the transactional layer and do things within systems. So that's our view on the future of support. Welcome any questions, or we can move on.